Hello, everyone. I'm Stacy Hall, and you have no idea how pleased I am that you've come back into the Lighthouse Path podcast studio with me today because I have a special treat as I do every time we come together. And today we don't, it looks like we have one guest, but she actually brings the expertise of six people. I have with me today Liz Goll Lerner. She's a transformational coach. She's a bioenergetics expert. She's a psychotherapist, a best-selling author, and a beautiful artist. And she combines all of that in order to guide CEOs and their top executive staff through the complexities of the business relationships and their individual relationships that they encounter every single day so that they can achieve success that much faster. So we are in for a delicious, power-packed treat on this podcast today. Liz, welcome into the studio. It is wonderful to have you here.
Oh, thank you, Stacy. A pleasure, as always, to be with you.
Oh, thank you. All right. So here's where we shine the light on our customers and our clients. And I know you do that beautifully with all of your background and all of your knowledge. But what's a specific way you show your clients, these CEOs, top executives, that they matter to you beyond the transaction?
Yeah. I think the most important way that I do this is to be fully present with them, be fully present to what they're saying, to their concerns, to really hold the space. And it's the space of their personal mission, there's the space of their goals for their company, the space of for the people that they want to inspire in their company to do their best work with their customers or with their lower level staff.
I appreciate that very, very much. So can you give us a specific way that you do that? Like a story, an example, we would love.
Let's see. So, in one instance, I was working with a senior vice president who their company just loves them and is investing time in them, and they didn't really come to the story of why they were there. Something about communication, something about a big meeting, something about this or that. And, we just sat with it until the space became safe enough to really share what was going on. And once someone can open up, it's like a flower opening, and we get to do some additional work. So I have a wonderful technique called the quantum presence technique that I developed to help people actually get present in the moment so that they can actually make choices about their next feeling, their next step, their next verbalization. And going through that with this person just opened the doorway to the golden nuggets of that person's next steps. It was just fabulous.
I can feel it. But what specifically, how did it improve, not just for them, but for the entire organization?
So when someone can actually use this method and be present, it's shedding all the things that people walk into a meeting with. It sheds, or a conversation, it sheds the assumption, the preconceived notion of how it's going to go. It sheds what they might be thinking, or the worry about what they're going to say next. Because even the best of us sometimes worry about what we're going to say next. And what that allows is curiosity. It allows actual listening so that people really begin to understand each other, and progress happens so much more swiftly instead of all of this, kind of what swimming around in the muddy waters. We can just really be there and be curious and ask the right questions, and then movement just occurs.
Yeah, the way you describe it is like, I sure wish when I was in corporate America, that's what it was like. I'm sure you are very well appreciated. So, what kinds of situations in general would you say you're seeing over and over again when you first start to work with a client or when a prospective client contacts you? Are you seeing some sort of common denominator against across all of them?
What's fascinating to me is seeing these extremely proficient people come in, I mean, really top of their game with a certain level of insecurity, a doubt, a self-doubt of some kind, or a worry about how they're communicating, or worry about their position. And so much of that uh, takes them actually out of the game. So when we can actually get to whatever it is for them, then they come back in the game because they actually know what they're dealing with. And they can say, oh, thank you so much, my little inner self that's a little worried. Let me just come back here and pay attention to what my actual vision and purpose is, what the goal is. And then it's a very different story.
Yes, I can appreciate that. I always used to say, and this, I've been out of corporate America a long time. I'm pleased to say, but it's based on what you're saying because people are people. Things haven't changed that much. You know, whatever's happening back here when we walk in the door is still coming in, and we get triggered, right? And a lot of people treat other people like their parents, even though we did
They're
not
not.
grow up with them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is fabulous that you're able to get to that, and I'm going to say unscrew it
Mhm.
and screw it back together in the right way, if you will. And so I'm asking, what is the most rewarding part of your job for you? Because I can feel how rewarding it is for your clients. What is it for you?
What is really, really fun for me is to see that light go on. That when I do an intensive, which is really pretty short, so people are really giving their all for, about 6 hours, all of a sudden there is every single time a shift. And the light goes on, and people, one guy just said to me the other day, when I walked in here, I just really didn't believe any of this stuff. And I can't believe that I'm thinking completely differently. I never would have thought any of these thoughts, before walking in here. And I'm walking out with a different view of the world, a different view of myself, a different way to speak. It was just so exciting for me to see this shift happen and see the mastery that this person had and now be able to use it. So very exciting.
Well, yes, very wonderful, very soul satisfying, very all of it.
Mm,
And now it's very clear why people want to continue to work with you. Because
mhm,
you are, everything about what you do is shining the light
mhm.
on
That's
your
right.
clients. And while
Mhm,
you created a process that you're pleased about,
mhm.
the reason it works is because it's all about them. It's
Yeah, of
not about you.
course. It's all about them. Yes. Yes, yes,
No,
yes.
you say that like we're all supposed to know that. But why do you think I have this podcast? Because that's not, I can tell you a quick story of somebody
Sure.
that I spoke to yesterday. And I kept saying to her, so your ideal audience, what's the problem they have? And what kept coming back was, I did all this experience. I have all this experience. I did all this training. And it was I about her. And like, I get
Yeah.
you want to help these people, but you have to know what they're thinking, what they're feeling.
Right.
So do you have any thoughts on what I just said and how you would approach that if you encountered that?
If that person that you spoke to showed up at my door, well, Hopefully she showed up for coaching. Excuse me. But if she didn't, um, I guess what I would say about that is that it's so true what you're saying. People who want to be helpers, it doesn't matter what they want to do. What matters is what the problem is in front of them and what the person is experiencing who's in front of them and what they need, and what they're asking for and what they're struggling with. And without actually being present, what I was going to say when you were telling the story as well, she wasn't present in the moment. She was just, you know, pushing stuff out into the world,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
not really being present even with you and listening to what you were saying.
Exactly. And the interesting part is that she's really asking for the very thing for herself
Yeah.
that she says she wants to give to others, but it has to be fulfilled within her
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's a conversation that I left with a possibility for her to see,
Right.
because people have to be willing. This gentleman that you talked about went in, as he said, not expecting it to work, but I would say he had some hope. He had some optimism that it could, right?
You know what was interesting about that particular person was that he came in at the request of his superior, and not because he did anything wrong, but because they saw some ways that he could improve and be even better than he already was. And so he was being a good, I don't know if you're too like the expression "good doobie," is from like that kid show from 100 million years ago. He was being a good sport,
Yeah.
right? He was like, okay, whatever, I'm here. I think it's a bunch of hooey, but okay. And somehow we managed to connect enough so that he was willing to play along. And in the end, it was fabulous for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I get what you're saying. And what I really love is that you said the word play, which here at the Lighthouse Path, it's all about playing, exploring, and discovering. And
yes,
I would say, you tell me if I'm wrong, but I would say that is got to be one of the traits of a client for you, an ideal client for you. And it's a trait of an ideal client for me, is that they're open to see what else is possible.
yes.
And that requires play. Yes, yes, or yes?
I think for me, the openness is what is required. Whether they play in the same way or not isn't so important to me because my process is a creative process as we go with the person. So it's very organic. So most of the time they end up playing, but
Yeah.
they may not see themselves like that way. But yeah, like having a little bit of curiosity, a little bit of an adventurous spirit. But I think also the desire to know, the desire to grow, the desire to not necessarily be stuck in all those old patterns.
Yes.
And if they can actually see there's an old pattern, to go, oh yeah, like what do I need that for? And that doesn't mean there's not work involved, of course, and practice. People have to practice these new ideas or new ways. It's not like they come in and they've seen the light and they know what to do, but then they have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, as we start to wrap up, we've been scrolling across the screen your website. What do people get? What do folks get from you when they go to your website?
This particular website, they get a couple of options. There's an option for business coaching and consulting and an explanation of what enlightened communication is. And they also get an opportunity to explore a course of mine called Enlightened Communication Through Luminous Living. And that is for business people or for just us regular folks. And it's really about all the voices we have inside of us. It's a 12 archetype course, very simple archetypes, the defender, the protector, the whatever. And really a lovely way to connect our own energy to how we want to actually show up and speak to ourselves and other people in the world.
Very, very cool. I appreciate that. Good juju, as you say. I love it. Well, Liz, thanks for taking some time away from what you do all day long to give us a peek into what you do all day long. It does feel very satisfying for you.
A lot of fun.
I've received satisfaction hearing about it, and for your clients. So, how fortunate for them that they have found you. And to those of you who are thinking about reaching out to Liz, clearly she's in the studio because I encourage you to do that. I'm Stacy Hall, and of course, the Lighthouse Path is always about how you can be a lighthouse like Liz is, to shine your light on your ideal audience and guide them out of their darkness into the light that you have to share with them. So until next time, thanks for being here, and remember to shine on.